Heyo, Lloyd Ruhl, aka MegaBlitzz. In today's video, we're going to be diving into something a little bit different. I'm going to be giving my honest thoughts and review of the Pokemon trading card game Pocket, because I love everything Pokemon, and I didn't really try it when the game first came out, but I thought, you know what, why not give it a shot? Now, I've put about 50 hours into the Pokemon TCG Pocket over the last couple months, and I feel like I'm able to now to give you guys my honest thoughts of the game and just a review of Pokemon TCG Pocket from a Pokemon trading card game player and collector standpoint. So that's what we're going to be doing today. A quick overview of Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket came out on October 30th of 2024. So it's coming up on its 1-year anniversary in a couple months. And the game has a pretty solid following, actually. There are tons of online tournaments happening regularly. Tons of content creators are jumping on board, talking about it, and making videos about everything Pokemon TCG Pocket. Deck list overviews, ways to climb the rank ladder quickly, and all kinds of stuff. Pack openings as well. It's pretty awesome. Now, there isn't really a pro circuit for this game like we have for the Pokemon TCG, where you go to a regional and you kind of compete in Swiss rounds until a champion is decided at the end of the whole tournament. That doesn't really exist. However, I could see something like that happening with Pocket maybe in the future if it holds the steady, player base that it does have currently. I think that would be pretty cool. I think the community is going to have to push for it, and it might end up just being like an online competitive kind of scene like we have now for the game, but still pretty cool. Now, there's also a cash shop where you can spend money to buy items, different cosmetics, and things like that as well. However, you can play this game entirely for free without spending $1, which I do appreciate, and that's what I did. I spent no money playing this game for the whole 50 hours I played it. The key differences between the Pokemon Trading Card game and the Pokemon Trading Card game Pocket is just going to be a couple things. So I want to go over some of those. First thing you're going to notice is the game seems to be a lot more simplistic. Pokemon TCG Pocket seems to be a little more simplistic than the Pokemon Trading Card game itself. And for the reason is because you only really need 3 knockouts to actually win the game. There's not really prize cards, so you don't have to worry about prize checking or anything like that. An EX Pokemon counts as 2 knockouts, and your deck only has 20 cards in it with no energy. So you just have this energy zone where you attach an energy once per turn, except if, it's the first turn of the game, and that's kind of how it works. You only have 3 bench Pokemon instead of 5. You're also able to play any supporter on your first turn of the game going first. It's still only 1 supporter per turn, however. Also, you can only have 2 copies of a single card in your deck, so it changes the way you build your deck a little bit differently, as opposed to the Pokemon Trading Card game where you can have 4 copies at a 60-card deck and you need 6 prizes to win the game. Pokemon TCG Pocket is just 3 knockouts to win the game, 20-card decks, 3 bench Pokemon, and you can still play a supporter on the first turn. You only have 2 copies of a card in your deck, and the way weakness and resistance works is a little bit different. It's not ×2 in Pokemon TCG Pocket like it is in Pokemon Trading Card Game. However, it is +20, -20, which actually lost me a couple games at certain points because I thought I was doing double damage because I'm so used to playing the Pokemon Trading Card Game. However, that didn't work the way I thought it did. So that kind of stunk. So if you're a hardcore Pokemon TCG player like myself, it feels a little simplified. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, as for some people, they may want to take a break from the long, complex, normal TCG games and play something a little bit easier, or they just might not have time at certain points through the day to just commit to a 20 to 30 minute Pokemon Trading Card game on the live client. So for that reason, I feel like it's pretty cool, which I do appreciate. Now, there's also things called daily packs and wonder picks. So one of the coolest features in the Pokemon TCG Pocket that I personally think is the daily packs. Every time you log in, you can redeem a free pack. There's something really fun about just getting these daily rewards and trying to pull that shiny new card. And the best part is, you don't have to spend any money to get the packs. So you get the dopamine hit of opening a really cool shiny EX card or the immersive EX without actually having to spend any money to do it. On top of that, you also get wonder picks where you pick from 5 cards in a small pool. Some of them can cost more points depending on the rarity of the cards. For example, if there's an EX card in the pool of those cards you're picking from in that wonder pick, the cost of the wonder pick might be 3 of your 5 points that you're actually able to have. So you're going to spend a little bit more at the chance that you get this really cool EX. In the beginning, I was getting tons of packs like crazy. Win a match, get a pack. Do a wonder pick, get a pack. Build a deck, get a pack. But after a few hours, that slowed down quite a bit. It's still nice that the game offers ways for you to collect without breaking your bank account, with there being 9 different sets to collect. At the time of me recording this video, you can collect one set and then move on to the next, with the most recent set being an evolution type set. So just like Evolving Skies and Chromatic Evolutions. So I'm sure that set is going to be bringing a good amount of people either back to the game or even to the game for the very first time. Now, there's also a way to spend some hourglass dust, is what I call it, to open more packs, and you can even open 10 packs at a time, which is rather enjoyable because the cinematic it has, I think, just looks really cool. So, breaking down all the gameplay type mechanics now here, let's talk about the gameplay itself. At first, I thought Pokemon TCG Pocket was perfect for quick games. However, that quickly kind of just died out for me. When I was on break at work, or maybe even just waiting in a doctor's office, it was pretty nice to be able to just open up TCG Pocket and then just play the game for that quick 10-15 minutes that I had during the day at different points. However, after the first 30 games I played, I was playing them manually, trying to figure out my deck in different strategies. But then I noticed this thing called an auto button. And let me tell you, once I figured that out, I started using that a lot. If I was trying to get my dailies done, or if I just wanted to play TCG Live on my computer while having Pokemon TCG Pocket running in the background, the autoplay feature was a huge time saver, but not always in a good way. Now, don't get me wrong, the gameplay is simple, and that's great for some people. If you're looking for just a quick, easy game to play, it's perfect. But for someone like me who actually enjoys the in-depth matches of TCG Live or tabletop Pokemon TCG, I found myself getting bored pretty quickly, as the game didn't really have enough strategy or time to develop into what a typical Pokemon game feels like when you're playing TCG Live or the Pokemon trading card game in physical form. After playing a couple games manually, I just ended up using the auto feature for everything I was doing. However, the auto feature wasn't always that great, as certain times I would kind of notice the auto AI feature just make weird decisions that didn't really make a lot of sense. As someone who plays the Pokemon trading card game at a higher competitive level, I would pick up on things and I would be like, okay, that's not what I would have done. But it was nice to grind out those dailies and just kind of have it running in the background to get some extra points for different things. The deck building in Pokemon TCG Pocket is also kind of weird. We've already talked about how you have 20 cards in a deck and you can only have 2 copies of each of those cards in your deck. However, there's also just auto-include cards that have to go in every deck, a lot like the regular Pokemon trading card game, where most decks are going to play things like Nestball or Buddy Buddy Poffin or Professor's Research or even Arven or Ionos. Pokemon TCG Pocket has some of those cards as well. For example, you have cards like Pokeball, which is just get a random basic Pokemon from your deck and put it into your hand. Now, you don't get to pick, it's just random. So it just gives you a random basic Pokemon you have in your deck available to you and just puts it in your hand. You also have Professor's Research, which is draw 2 cards. So now, when building the deck, I was pretty shocked when I couldn't really come up with different strategies that didn't include these cards. So when building my Shocking Isn't It deck with Tapu Koko EX, I really wanted to add this cool Luxray card. However, I didn't have the Luxio I needed for it, so I had to go exchange my Sparkle Dust for some cards like Luxio and extra copies of Shinx and Luxray, just in case. So building a deck in Pokemon TCG Pocket is rather uneventful, as building a 20 card deck doesn't really leave a lot of room for flexibility in the cards that we have to play. Things like that Pokeball and the Professor's Research just pretty much get included in every deck. Even the top competitive meta decks in Pokemon TCG Pocket play those also. So it didn't really leave a lot of creativity for me, which was a bit of a Debbie Downer. Now, also accessorizing my deck was pretty cool. I was able to pick a coin and different sleeves and different deck boxes like they let you do in TCG Live. However, they also added this playmat feature where you get to pick this really cool playmat that was kind of what was behind you while actually playing the Pokemon TCG Pocket. And I would really love to see Pokemon Trading Card Game Live add a feature like that. I think that would be really interesting, and I think it wouldn't be that hard to do. So that's one thing that I really enjoyed about the deck building and accessorizing process of Pokemon TCG Pocket. So to kind of just wrap up my overall thoughts of Pokemon TCG Pocket, it's definitely not without its flaws, but it does have potential. The fast-paced gameplay is a great option for people who just want a quick, casual Pokemon experience. It's easy to pick up, free to play, and it doesn't demand too much strategy or time investment or even a money investment, which is a great thing for a mobile game. However, for people who actually enjoy the deeper mechanics of the Pokemon trading card game, it might not be something you'll play long term. However, from a collector's standpoint, the daily packs and the thrill of opening packs to get a cool EX or one of the immersive EX cards, I feel is worth the daily 2 to 3 minutes to open packs. However, it comes with the actual Pokemon TCG Pocket. In playing the game, I think I'll just stick to playing tabletop Pokemon TCG or playing Pokemon TCG Live, as the games just didn't really feel very strategic to me, and it didn't feel very back and forth of the game. It kind of felt very one-sided in a lot of the games I was playing, where my opponent just evolved quickly or just had the cards they needed faster than I did, and I didn't really have a whole lot of comeback mechanics to actually come back and win the game. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys are enjoying the content I've been making so far on the channel and you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to smash the subscribe button. We're getting real close to 1K subs, and it costs you nothing, but it means the world to me. So thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!